out at this stage, I'd like to say hi and welcome to Brendan Smith, TD Fianna Fáil. Good afternoon, Brendan. Well, really, it isn't a good afternoon. It is a very rainy, wet, and I would say by now, a very floody afternoon outside.
It is indeed, but otherwise it's a very good afternoon here in Cavan.
Of course it is.
We have so many visitors from all over our own county, from Monaghan, and from our neighbouring counties as well, who are here to see this great annual event as well. And it's very heartening to meet the people who have been exhibiting here on an annual basis. And today and yesterday I noticed so many other new businesses, particularly from neighbouring counties, from Ulster and from Leinster as well, and Connacht. And it's great to see the range of Irish products that's available here. And of course, these are very important showcases for the best of Irish produce. And many of us may not be fully aware of the extent and range of products that are being processed and manufactured or grown in our own localities. So it's very heartening to listen to the people there, to see the quality of the products that are on display. Apart from food, there are also artisan products. And all of those people creating employment, gaining export markets for new products, generating revenue for our country. So this is a very important show. It's an important showcase for the many enterprises, both medium, small and large. And again, I'd compliment Cavan County Council and the organising committee, Elizabeth Ormiston, chairperson of the IFA here in Cavan, who is also chair of the Taste of Cavan, and the County Council officials, and indeed the many companies who participate. And today I also want to pay tribute to the volunteers who give up their time over a number of days, both in the days leading up to Friday and Saturday and over the weekend as well, in making sure that the event runs very smoothly, which we see it does.
Okay, well done. And exactly, you've reiterated everything that's been said in interviews so far today, and that's exactly acknowledgement and hands off and hats off to our local producers. Well done. Encouragement to new businesses. Well done. And yeah, that's the way to go. And of course, we did mention the volunteers, all the people who are volunteering here today. And indeed, as Brendan Jennings said, the hard work starts at 6 o'clock this evening when it's all over and the whole place has to be returned back as an equestrian centre. So that's hard work, and also done by the volunteers, and well done to everybody involved. You, of course, were the Minister for Agriculture at one stage. I don't remember the years now, but you were. And no so more now than an important time at the moment for our farmers. Our farmers are getting, as it seems, a raw deal.
Absolutely. I was Minister of State in the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food from 2004 to 2007. Then subsequently I was the Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and Food from 2008 to 2011. And I have to say at the present time it's very disheartening to see the very poor returns that our farmers are getting.
Just let me break it down now, and we're not going to get too specific, we're not going to get bogged down in this, but this is we were at the beef process, the beef plan movement protest the other morning in Liffey Meats, Cavan TV, they were there. Now, the breakdown is 51% goes to the retailer of an animal, of the price that the farmer gets for an animal. 51% goes to the retailer. 36 or 37% goes to the beef processor, and the farmer gets the rest for 2 years' work.
Yes.
Now, these are hard times. Why is it, Brendan Smith, TD, that things have to get desperate before anybody does anything for farmers, for businesses, for the HSE? In this country, it seems that things have to get absolutely to be at desperate, dire straits before anybody sits up and does something.
Yeah, and this problem, particularly for the beef and the suckler cow producers, this hasn't arisen overnight. This has been written all over that this crisis was coming. And in the Dáil, I and other public representatives who would be very supportive of the farmers, and particularly the smaller scale farmers.
Being supportive is not enough now at this stage. They need help, they need hands-on, they need legislation, they need help, they need something done, not just support.
But they need a proper return.
Something done. They need a proper return.
What we have been calling for, and along with others I have highlighted the need, we need transparency. You know, the cost of the end product, there's enough for the primary producer, the farmer, for the processor and retailer, but unfortunately it's not been divided up fairly, and the primary producer is not getting.
And we can see that now when it's broken down into percentages like that. It's time to do something about it. You know, if you or I were farmers and we were waiting on 30 20-something% return on something we fed and nurtured for 2 years, we wouldn't be doing it for very long. The farmers are born into farming. It's a family affair. They have nothing else but to keep their land and work as farmers.
Yeah, and I know a lot of good farmers who are very well established people who have built up good herds over the years, and they've been saying to me for the past 6, 8, 10 months, some of them, Brendan, we're just continuing, but it just can't go on much longer because we're continuing to lose money. But the overall beef sector, the processors would want to remember, as every good beef producer goes out of business, there's less product there to process and to sell. So what we need, and it's not happening at the minute, the smaller scale producer is not getting as good a price in the factory as the larger scale producer. We need transparency. Transparency has been promised for the past few years. It hasn't happened.
Is there work been done on that at the moment?
There is, but it's far too slow. There was legislation put into place in
Small
Europe, but it has not.
Small farmers are going to go to the wall.
In the meantime, yes.
Yeah.
But
They're going to go broke.
The legislation that's there in Europe has not been what they say transposed into Irish legislation here, which we need. We need fair trading practices. And the farmer would be the first person to say, Brendan, I need to at least and more than cover my cost of production. I need a week's wages, and oftentimes they've had poor week's wages and none for the past number of months. But if we don't have fair play reach shortly, we will lose a huge amount of good farmers to farming, and that would be detrimental to the economy of the country in general.
It's going to stop this. It's going to stop the hand down of farming from one generation to the next. If a farmer goes broke and he has to get rid of his farm for whatever reason, or he can't sustain being in farming anymore, that's the end of a generation, end of an era in farming, and that's happening. Now I know farms and I know farmers who have to go out and work as well as farm.
Oh, absolutely, and I tell you,
they have to work at something. Get it, and if you want to work, you'll get a job.
Yeah.
To work to supplement the farm, the family income.
Oftentimes, the income that they take from the job is actually meeting the costs on the farm in some instances.
But what
at European level, and I know I did it myself as Agriculture Minister in Europe, we would have always championed the qualities of family farming, that it's done in a very high standard. That's what we have always argued for, what's known as common agriculture policy support for smaller scale producers, that they're rewarded for the quality of their production, and they're also guardians of the environment, because we know there are no better guardians of the environment than our farming community. But if we don't have the smaller scale producer, the smaller scale farmer, then farms will become bigger. We'll be heading towards the system that they had in the United States and elsewhere of big farmland to that. That's not the nature of the Irish farming sector, and we want to ensure that never happens, that farmers can get a reasonable and basic and decent income from the hard work that they do 365 days of the year, and it's not 8 to 5 Monday to Friday, so it's not. It's all the clock round, every day of the week, every week of the year.
Now, as if the farming difficulties weren't enough at the moment, we also have the looming times ahead of the 31st of October of Brexit. We don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Brexit. There's the fear of a no-deal Brexit for Ireland. The fear of a hard border. I know we survived a hard border before, but these are different times. We've got loads of industries, and like we've got Monaghan mushrooms. We've got farmers who maybe have land, farmers each side of the border, and that's the compounding farming difficulties again. My question to you is, do you think Leo Varadkar is doing enough to get answers from these people? Is he pushing our cause enough?
I would sincerely hope he is. And
is he?
I would think he is at European level. At
European level,
But it's disappointing that the Taoiseach and Mr Johnson haven't met. Traditionally, in the past, when a new British Prime Minister took over, they would exchange.
That was a bit of a snub, wasn't it?
It is, and it's terrible. We need good relationships with Britain.
Because he had a good relationship with Theresa May.
Yeah, and it's traditionally British and Irish Prime Ministers over, particularly in the past.
We certainly need it now more than ever.
We do, and I tell you, Mr Johnson is obviously determined to have a general election, to have a crash-out Brexit. A crash-out Brexit will seriously damage our country, north and south. It will do more damage to us as a country than it will to Britain. There seems to be no
That is
common
scary.
sense politically in Britain at the present time among the leadership of that government. There are very good people, both backbenchers in the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats and in the Labour Party, but unfortunately those people are not in the majority at the present time. The government that Mr Johnston heads seems hell-bent on going for a no-deal Brexit. When Mr Johnston was asked, he stated that the biggest problem he had was the backstop. When he was asked, well, what was his solution to the backstop? He said it was technology. He's talking about technology being a solution to a problem, and that technology does not exist. So wouldn't you just despair when you think that that's the proposal put forward by your head of government?
Yeah, okay. Coming back to our perspective, and I agree with what you say there, come back to our perspective, what can we do? Like, we just can't put our hands up and say we're hopeless, we can't do anything. We must be able to do something on a political level, on a national level.
Well, what we have to do, Europe has already conceded to Mrs May. Some of the red lines that she outlined that she had to get, they were conceded to. Europe has to stand by the withdrawal agreement that was agreed by the British government and that Mr Johnston voted for at one stage, as did his Prime Minister Mrs May and that government vote for. The 26 other member states of the European Union plus Ireland must remain rock solid on insisting that that withdrawal agreement is honoured. We cannot diminish or weaken one iota that agreement.
Okay, well that's it on Brexit, and as I say and as you say, we won't know what's going to happen until the 31st of October. Okay, were you disappointed with your recent the election bid for European Parliament?
Yeah, well, we had no seat in this constituency, and we had a seat in 2014, and we had a long-serving MEP who had been elected in 1994, who was there until 2014. Our party adopted a strategy that didn't work of putting up two candidates. Unfortunately, that strategy was again followed in 2019. That resulted in us not getting a seat.
So would you blame the strategy rather than the...
Strategy. And the situation is that there were sitting MEPs in position. An incumbent has a better chance of retaining a seat than a new person winning the seat.
Yeah,
so the people who were in possession had every advantage, and that's their good luck, so it is. But I am absolutely convinced that a one-candidate strategy for whoever it was, Fianna Fáil would have won a seat.
Okay, we'll change the subject a little bit. I want to ask you another question. Ireland has been under the influence of the EU and the Europeans since the 1973. Ireland is changing, Europe is changing, the world is changing. Now, I don't know if you're aware of, but there are media people on the ground that it doesn't hit the mainstream media, but there are people called the nationalists out there, and they're fighting to try and retain the identity of Ireland, keeping us Irish, keeping the Irish flag, keeping our Catholic identity, keeping our Irish identity. But that's not the way things are happening now. We're building mosques. We're integrating people from different countries into all walks of life. Well and said, that is good, because Irish people did go abroad and lived in melting pots all over the world, and we did, and we would not have survived if we didn't do that. But for the people who want to protect and keep our little Ireland a little bit Irish, what do you say to that?
Oh, well, I welcome diversity. I worked abroad, I worked in the United States, I worked in Britain, as a student, and following my completion of studies as well, I was very glad to work on building sites in Britain and in North America, and I saw the diversity of work there. But I know that a lot of Irish people emigrated at a tough time. There were signs on windows throughout Britain and elsewhere, no Irish or Catholic need apply, which was deplorable. And what I would say is, with every fibre in our body as Irish people, we should always defend the right to be different, the right to diversity, and to appreciate other people's culture. But we have to ensure that our Irish strong traditions and our heritage and our culture, that it's nurtured and strengthened. But that allows for diversity. But if you take it today, our Gaelic games, they were never stronger. They're played throughout the world. There were world finals being held in Waterford and in Croke Park this week, where you had teams from South Africa, from Russia, from throughout Asia. So you had people some of them born in Ireland, some of them second generation Irish, but a lot of those people had no connection whatsoever with Ireland, but they're playing ladies football, they're playing men's football, they're playing camogie, playing hurling, which is wonderful. There was a festival of football and camogie in Waterford Institute of Technology during the week. Those finals went to Croke Park yesterday.
What about our religion? Our religion is fading fast.
Yeah, well, I'd be a Catholic, a practicing Catholic.
Well, what about our religion as a nationwide?
I believe that, and I'm not going to lecture to anybody. I'm a practicing Catholic, and I let anybody do whatever they want. But I believe that if people belong to a church or a faith, that there are certain parameters within life, and I think it's a strength for a person. That's my own opinion. I'd never impose my opinion on anyone else in regard to religious or faith matters.
Well, you know now that it's not okay in some places to put up cribs at Christmas, to put up in hospitals, to put up
I think
a cross.
It's absolute nonsense.
They're taking them down because of fear of offending somebody else. I could say, if I was really strong on that point, I could say that's Ireland losing its identity again.
Well, there's no defence. By and large, our country is a Christian country. The Roman Catholic Church is the larger church. There are other Christian churches as well who are strong. But I absolutely believe that those good old traditions that were doing no harm to anybody, that they should be maintained. Because if I go to another country and it's Muslim or whatever,
you
other
respect
faith,
their traditions.
I respect those, and I will live by the majority view there. And that thing of, I would say that if any management of a school or a church or a hospital or a public institution, that they allow good old traditions like that to be pushed aside, I'd say you're a weak management team that would allow that to happen. And I'm a person who wants inclusivity and diversity in everything. And I do my work every day of the week. And I work with people from all different nationalities in the Cavan Monaghan constituency. I work with them, I attend their events, and I'll be one of the public representatives whom they will always go as a person that they are people who go to talk to about things. I go to their functions, I go to their annual Independence Day and all, and I really enjoy those. But we cannot let our strengths and our traditions be brushed aside either. And I don't think the people coming to live in our country want us to do that either.
Okay, so that's fair enough. So you would agree that we should keep our identity. We can keep our identity.
Absolutely.
And have inclusivity at the same time.
Absolutely. And we have actually internationalised some of our identity with our Gaelic games and that. I remember as a minister doing a trade promotion to China. I was in Beijing, Shanghai, and a good young lady from Monaghan who was there working in a business, she told me that she was playing in the Asian Games and she was the Gaelic Player of the Year in Asia. It was delightful to meet that lovely young lady from Monaghan. So it was, and we were just chatting about the games. But here there was that festival that I mentioned in Waterford Institute of Technology that moved to Croke Park. It's great to see that our games being played in every continent in the world today.
Okay.
And our Irish music, through the good work of Cultus Cotrier and with the Flacco starting tomorrow evening. And could I just say to the competitors from Cavan and Monaghan, I met some of the children here today who will be competing in competitions in the All-Ireland Flag, that I wish them the best of luck, and I'll be there to listen to their good music, song, dance and recitation as well. Please God.
Well, on that note, we leave it. It was, again, as ever, Brenda Smith, it was interesting talking to you, and a great man to get your point across. Well done. So again, from a wonderful taste of Cavan folk, we're going to enjoy what's left of the rest of the evening, and I'm sure you are too. Did you enjoy any stalls in particular, or did you just enjoy them all?
I sampled too many good things.
Yeah, there's plenty of good things. I've never seen so much gin in all my life. Yeah. So we couldn't sample that.
No.
But yeah, great. The samples and the smells and the aromas in here are just wonderful today, and the tips and the demonstrations, everything wonderful. Once again, thank you very much for talking to us at the Taste of Cavan. The Taste of Cavan, a fantastic Taste of Cavan for 2019. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and keep up the good work.